Good morning. All right, what's going? All right, guys, week. All right, guys, week. Okay. All right, guys, good. Jeez. All right, I told myself I wouldn't do this without coffee, and here we are again. What's going on, guys? It is Wednesday the 24th. Wednesday is check-in day for the holiday cut series that I am doing here on this channel. I'm glad you guys are here. My name is Noah, and in this video we're going to talk about dieting when you're depressed, because I definitely felt depressed this week and it just sparked a lot of thoughts on that whole thing. And we're also going to check in on my weight. We're going to do a body composition update, and we're just going to talk about the flow of this week, my mindset, the gym, stuff like that. This is my intention that I set last week to get down to about 7% body fat, which we will verify via DEXA scan when this whole thing is over, and to cut roughly 13 pounds. We're aiming for 190. We started last week at 203. Let's get on the scale. Let's see how we did. Okay, so we weighed in this morning at 201.7. Now, I'll probably say this a lot on this series when we check in every Wednesday, but the number on the scale, it's not the most important thing. It's just something plottable. It's just something tangible that we can track and measure. The reason I weigh in on Wednesdays is because Wednesdays is like my most neutral day. It's midweek. I'm in the flow of my week. If I happen to have a refeed day on the weekend, it doesn't really carry over to Wednesday. And so I can be consistent as long as I weigh in, at the same time every week, despite a bit of fluctuation, because we can all weigh more some days depending on how much sodium we take in, what we ate the night before, how much sleep we got, how much water retention, blah, blah, blah. There are factors that can obviously affect weight. But over time, if I weigh in at the same time every day on that same day of the week, then we're going to get some data that can help us keep an eye on this whole thing, make sure it's going in the right direction. So I've been weighing in daily just about for like 6 months. I'm used to it. I don't associate my worth with the scale. If I went up or down, I don't feel good or bad or scared. It doesn't change my relationship with food. I'm grateful to have developed a healthy dynamic with food, but I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm actually really pleased with 1.3 pounds being down, because I actually started this whole thing on a Wednesday to make up for the fact that had I weighed in like on a Monday last week, I would have been probably 3 or 4 pounds heavier, because I binged out like nuts a couple days before last week. And I wanted to eat really, really, really well and at a massive deficit Monday, Tuesday, and then start this thing on a Wednesday, so that today's weigh-in would be reflective of about the pace we're going to go. So 1 to 2 pounds is fantastic. If we're going to just deal with weight before we get into my psyche, my mindset and everything, 1 to 2 pounds is great. I can't ask for anything more than that, because I want to hold on to as much muscle as I can, and I also want to hold on to as much performance as I possibly can. And I had a really, really, really good week in the gym. As I've been eating worse, let's say, leading up to the inspiration to use this platform as like a motivation / accountability partner to do the holiday cut, I could definitely tell my workouts were getting worse. Because I was just eating a ton of ice cream and donuts and just kind of whatever I wanted for a couple months there, put on a few pounds. So workouts this week went really well. I was able to attack them again. It's amazing how much better training goes when you fuel yourself responsibly and you eat afterwards to recover. I know that. It's just I got away from it for a split second, and it feels good to be back in line with that, because I love training and just feeling good while you're working out and having the energy and motivation to work out. It just makes it so much more fun and enjoyable, and I like that stark reminder. It's just got me fired up about, I don't know, my life and my goals with food and exercise in general. Now, I will say that this week, my mood took a bit of a tumble. Luckily, it didn't impact my productivity. I'd say it didn't impact my attitude. I wasn't like irritable or grumpy with people, but I did feel depressed this week. just foggy and blech and out of it. And it's not a coincidence that my wife went out of town at the same time I started this series, and she's been gone since. She's helping family out in Arizona. And this was not like specifically part of my plan, but I did completely give up processed and added sugar, which was a little bit random. Now, I'm not a huge sugar person. I just sort of happen to not feel like eating any added processed sugar. I try not to do that. I try to keep those and limit those times to like special occasions because I don't like the repercussions. I don't like the inflammation. I don't like the mood swings. And I don't like my propensity to really binge eat once I start getting sugar in my system. It was a good reminder to not be addicted to sugar, to reestablish my relationship with sugar. I'm kind of still waiting for my head to clear. This sort of brings me into something I want to talk about a little bit, just for a split second here on this update, which is should you diet when you're depressed? And I really want to address the word diet. I hope nobody here thinks, for me personally, that I am on a diet. I am not on a diet. A diet to me implies changing everything about the way that you eat to lose weight to then go off the diet. And that never works. I mean, as many of you know, I don't want to patronize you, but dieting doesn't work because it's not sustainable for the long term. So I am currently, the way I am eating, which you can follow on Instagram, I'm posting every single meal that I eat, all of them. For this entire experience, I want to be very transparent with how this goes and how it's working and how I make adjustments and stuff like that. So follow me on Instagram if you'd like to know my exact diet, macros included at the end of every single day. So I'm going to show you my fat, my protein, my carbs, and also my calories, okay? But I'm not on a diet at all. This is the way I live in general. I have really profound reasons, the reasons are profound to me as to why I eat the way I eat, why I try to take in so many whole foods, why I focus so much on getting as many vegetables into my diet as possible. And I'm not going to dive into that right this minute, but I have reasons far beyond aesthetic value of my body and then being lean or whatever, losing weight. The only thing I'm doing right now is I'm eating at more of a deficit. So I have like my caloric baseline, the amount of energy I need to sustain my weight. I'm just taking the same lifestyle I've always had, and I'm dropping the amount of energy I'm bringing in so that I can elicit a weight loss response. But I'm not changing the way I eat, so that when this is over, I will simply bring my macros, bring my calories in line with weight maintenance. Not, oh, this is over and now I'm gonna eat Cheerios every morning and yogurt from Yoplait at night. And by the way, when I do decide I'm gonna eat a whole pizza, I'll track it and I'll talk about it. I'll just try to do it really strategically. As someone who struggles with depression, especially in the past, right now I just have sugar withdrawal depression. I would say depressed people who struggle with mental health like I have, and like I sometimes still do, we need to stack the odds in our favor in any way, shape, or form. And eating as healthy as we possibly can is vital for healing from depression. I mean, eating fast food and processed food and sugar and obviously drinking alcohol and doing those things when we're depressed, the effects can be compounded because we're already struggling with sleep. We're already struggling with outlook and motivation. We're already struggling with mood swings and fluctuations of that nature, interest in eating, no interest in eating, apathy, things like that. And I know for a fact that like when I decide I'm gonna go eat 5 donuts before bed, the next morning I can't think straight. I got very interrupted sleep. My heart rate was jacked up that night. It makes me feel super foggy and out of it. So I think just my whole thing, I guess, my message is, because I know some of my viewers struggle with depression, is eat as clean as you possibly can for your mental health, for your physical health, for your sleep, for your energy, for all these things that you desperately need to control if you can, not just to lose weight. That's just like if you have a little extra weight, then we teach you how to, the whole idea is that we get you into a bit of a deficit, but we want to eat the foods that are going to support us. And the bummer is that a lot of people, at one time, myself included, I didn't really have the tools, the knowledge, the know-how to get consistent application of healthy eating when I really needed to. So that sort of speaks to something I talk about all the time on this channel, which is if you're doing well, form these habits now so that when you are struggling, you're locked into a lifestyle that can sustain and help you get better. Anyway, that's a bit of a side note, but I wanted to throw that out there this week. Speaking to like the type of foods that I eat, you know, I did post everything I ate on my Instagram, and I eat a lot, okay? When you eat whole food, plant-based foods, and then you use a little, I still eat meat. I just don't use a ton of meat. You can eat a ton of food, and so, I mean, I was eating, I think I averaged that first week, like 2,000 calories was my net average, which is great. It's about 600 calories into a deficit each day. Awesome, which is why we hit over a pound of weight loss, which is fantastic. But I felt really, really full. Like my dinner last night was 3 pounds. 3 pounds. So I never feel deprived when we do these sort of things. Like when I do a cut, when I lean out, I do not feel deprived. I know how to leverage veggies and whole foods to feel stuffed, even while keeping my caloric density pretty low. So that part's pretty rad, and I really enjoyed that. And it just feels good to be really, really back on track. I had wandered a bit away from it after I hit 193, 194 back in August, or maybe it was late July. Also, perfectly reasonable to let you guys know that I do intermittent fasting. So I have an 8-hour eating window, 16-hour fast. That's my baseline. I haven't needed to adjust that this first week. I didn't think I would, but as time goes on, I will leverage some extended fasts, some 24-hour fast, 36-hour fast here and there as I need to, or potentially like on refeed days, I'll have a 12-hour eating window instead of an 8, but I do that all week long. And my first meal as of right now, which is subject to change, of course, is my pre-workout meal. So I typically have my first meal at like 2:33. Because I train at 4:35, something like that. We are going to do a quick body update. I really meant to get groomed before doing this update, but I haven't been groomed, so I'm super hairy. So I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell the difference, but you will over time. I'll get groomed up before we do this next week. I also like to do these body updates in the morning, flat, like there's no pump. I haven't done push-ups. I'm not coming off a workout. This is what I live with body, my walk around body, which I think is the most important body to demonstrate, right? This is where I actually am. So I'm not carb loaded. I'm not veiny. So here's the body update. Why is that so hard? Ow, ow. Abs. Oh man, it's such a funny feeling to like pose off for a camera. It's a really funny feeling. I believe in doing body updates, show you guys the progression, especially because we're going for such a lean state. Like I feel like I'm already relatively lean, so we're gonna go from here to like lean. So we got to make sure we track the progress. It's not too late if you want to jump on this train and set the intention to either maintain your weight for the holidays, maybe shave off a couple pounds. You know, we can do it together, so there's a little bit of a community aspect there. I sure do appreciate you guys' time and supporting me and supporting this channel. I know a lot of you, the vast majority of you, I'd say, don't subscribe to me for content like this, but it's a cool accountability tool for me, and I enjoy making a series like this just to mix things up. So thank you for those that do support this. I'm grateful. I am. If you guys have any questions about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, anything at all, please leave them in the comments below. I will definitely get to them. Otherwise, have a wonderful week. And we will see you guys next week after 2 weeks in when we check in again for the holiday cut. I hope to have passed the sugar withdrawal, sugar depression phase that I fell into. That would be really, really nice. That would be really, really nice. But otherwise, steady as she goes. This is going to be about 12 more weeks is my guess, 10 to 12 depending on how we do, how many plateaus we hit, and or how fast we drop that weight, while keeping health and performance at a premium, because I don't want to compromise there too, at least not to the very, very end, with the performance for the gym. All right, I've made this super long. I sure have. We'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.